I know that there have been some real concerns raised at the last meeting. Hopefully by the end of the evening, tonight's evening, everyone will have a clearer picture of where the district stands from a fiscal point of view. After leaving the last meeting, it was the board's goal to have our administrators revisit the entire budget and enrollment projections to determine the veracity of all the information we shared and all the substitutions we used when stating there would be a shortfall. The last few weeks have resulted in some changes in the forecast and an opportunity to reassess our long-term planning process given the demographic profile of Lakewood. Our mission as a board is to serve the community and provide our students with a thorough and efficient education as mandated by the state's constitution. We need to be united behind the principle and to work together to achieve success. As a result of the budgetary review undertaken by the superintendent, I have asked her to present her findings tonight, to present an accurate picture of where we are today, what our budget will look like in both the short-term and long-term projections, and her thoughts as to steps we need to take immediately. I now turn the platform over to Mrs. Laura Winters.
Mrs. Winters, before we begin, have to read the Open Public Meetings Act.
Okay, please.
Pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 231 laws of 1976, known as the Open Public Meetings Act, Mr. Gambola notified the public that notice of the date, time, location, and agenda of this meeting, to the extent known, was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting in the following manner. Number one, by posting such notice on the public announcement board of the Lakewood Board of Education offices and the Lakewood Township Municipal Building. Number two, by mailing such notice to the office of the Asbury Park Press. Number three, by filing such notice with the board secretary. And number four, by mailing such notice to all individuals who requested and paid for a copy of same.
Before I begin, I'd like to introduce our Student Council Government President, Joanne Sidoriosa.
First and foremost, I brought the rest of my SGA plan with me. I'd like to introduce my Vice President, Felipe. And we have our Treasurer, Julie. Our Secretary isn't here with us, but without them, I would be a wrecking ball. So we have our National Honor Society breakfast induction ceremony beginning of November, and I'd like you all to come because it's the biggest society of Lakewood Middle High School. So it's a true honor if you guys come and show. It's beginning of November. I asked our advisor what the date is, but he hasn't have a set date yet. So we get free food. So secondly, volleyball varsity team won their first game this season. Wow. And this just shows that Lakewood's Pioneer Pride is coming back, and we've lost that for the past year. Lakewood has been disoriented, and thanks to Ms. Materzo and the rest of the administration, Lakewood is coming back on full effect. And this leads me to our upcoming activities that we're having around November. We have our Powder Puff game, which we haven't had in years. That's like a big high school thing. And with that, there's a cookout. So you guys are welcome to come there. Again, free food. Well, sort of. So that's on November 15th. And we also have a community bonfire. I'm sure you guys are all aware of that. Are you?
Yes, it's on the agenda.
So we have no specific date for that yet, do we?
No, we didn't.
Oh, we do?
27.
So you guys come support. We'll bond as a community and a family. All updated on all our future activities and functions we're having. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, each month I like to present a student from Lakewood High School with a Superintendent's Recognition Award. And this month, for the month of September, I would like to honor a Lakewood High School 12th grader who is ranked 25 in her class. She is eligible for the Ocean County College STARS program. However, she is undecided as to where she wants to attend college. This student is interested in attending Georgian Court University, Monmouth University, Keene College, Rutgers University, and/or Fairleigh Dickinson University. She is involved in cheerleading, winter and spring track, gospel choir, yearbook committee, team pep, and student government. Congratulations to our Superintendent's Recognition of the Award winner, Taisha Kano. Okay, at this time, I would also like to honor 4 teachers who every year for the past many years have taken part in the Special Olympics with our students. Although our students couldn't be here, I would like to thank John Fry. You can come up, John. Nick Karska. Mary Rustamano. At this time, we're just going to show you a short presentation so the students can see. Maybe in a few minutes we'll show you. Okay, while we wait for the Special Olympics video, I would like to move on to the next presentation. At this time, I would like to congratulate and honor the Lakewood High School Marching Band for performing for the first time in 4 years at the Marching Band Festival at Jackson Liberty High School. While at the music festival, area music directors were excited that Lakewood actually brought back their band. They were excited to see them retake the field. And they complimented our students on being respectful, well-behaved, and on their performance. So I'd like to congratulate all of the band and thank you for restoring Pioneer Pride. So I'm going to call you up and give you an award.
I know.
We have Megal Wedderburn come up. Martin Parascan. Isaiah Calhoun. Marco Montoya. Ashley Negron. Mariah Mears. Jasmine Pinkney. Raven Wade. Amelia Hyman. Deja Ambridge. Michaela Medina. Rosemary Fuentes. Orlando Caceres. Miguel Yeps. Cole Barney. Alex Paterno. Nope. Luis Cruz. Dakota Barney. Aaron Francis. Jack Aquino. Alonzo Bennett. I'd like to honor the 3 staff members, Band Director Emily Carpenter. Dana Mandel, Assistant Band Director. And Color Guard Director, Adair Gillette.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That's what Lakewood Pride is all about.
Okay, right now, I'm going to ask the BA to assist me in doing a presentation on how we developed our budget and as we did a budget analysis over the last couple of weeks. Before we begin, I'm just going to have you watch the special Olympics video while it's ready. Okay, Mr. Giambola and I are just going to quickly go over a budget analysis that we have been working on the last few weeks. So we're just going to quickly review how we developed the budget. And as you know, the 2013-14 budget for the district was approved in March of 2013. And as we prepare for the budget, we look at enrollments, projected increases, student needs, state aid, and taxes. So on September 30th, at last month's meeting, we had an overly cautious staff member raise a concern about enrollment numbers based on the annual projections prior to verification. So the figure of a $4 million deficit was a result of responding to the report that our enrollment projections were significantly greater than anticipated. Legally, the business office is required to report on any potential shortfall which these enrollment numbers indicated. The findings were that the potential $4 million shortfall is incorrect. So where are we now? What are the issues? So right now, the growth of the Lakewood School District, the Lakewood is the fastest growing district in the state. The projections for the next decade indicate that there is no slowing. On average, student enrollment increases approximately 3,000 students annually. Current enrollment is more than 30,000 students between the public and non-public school. So what is the solution? Going forward, enrollment monitoring will be conducted monthly to assess budgetary impact. And we will look to retain a demographer and transportation experts to ensure that we have the most accurate planning and information. So what is the future of student busing? The costs continue to rise. There is a need for more efficient routes, and there is a need for more operators, meaning bus companies and lanes. So what is the solution? For 2013-14, 28 routes were added, and there is additional capacity on these buses for students that are being added at this time. We need to continue to work with the community to develop options for a more cost-effective and efficient busing system. Where are we with special education? Lakewood has a higher percentage of special education students than most districts. Significant costs have been incurred by the district for special education litigation. The solution is that Lakewood needs to work with the state of New Jersey to accommodate the growth of the special education needs in Lakewood, given its strain on the current budget. Monitoring the budget and expenses is an ongoing process overseen by our business administrator. We anticipate that the current district budget funds will be sufficient through the end of the academic year. In a tightly constructed budget, there are swing factors that could change these projections. Since adopting the budget, some of the large items that have come over in budget are the insurance premiums, which came in at $600,000 over what was anticipated. Substitutes also came in over $600,000 more than anticipated. Special education came in over $1 million more. Transportation, $1 million more. And extraordinary services, $650,000 more. So the total approximate overage is $3.8 million. So the solution? We have identified sources to create a small surplus by utilizing and reducing the following. Sorry. So in health benefits reserve, we have $1.6 million that we were able to utilize. We have a $1 million in surplus account. We have $700,000 in the food service surplus. Staff reductions, $200,000. It is $100,000, but it's a mistake, it's $200,000. Transportation for early childhood grant was $475,000 that was put into a transportation account, and other sources that were cut equals $500,000. So the long-term planning, we all know that Lakewood is a unique community in New Jersey due to explosive growth, diversity, inadequate roads for busing, and the ratio of students attending public and private schools. The challenge is that the current formula and methodology used by the state do not adequately address the unique characteristics of the Lakewood community. We are currently studying legislation and regulatory options that have been used in other states to address these factors. We know it will take cooperation and collaboration with community leaders, faculty, elected officials, and parents. Meetings are currently taking place with more scheduled to assure a financially secure future. And that is it. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
Question. Extraordinary services, $650,000. What's that consist of?
That's the account that we budget for one-on-one aids, any student, any special ed student that would require a nurse, something like that. That's the account.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, we have some changes on the agenda, additions and some changes. On page 17 and 18, Lakewood High School Twilight Intervention Program, remove Jeff Sotelo, paraprofessional, and change Lorraine Peace, paraprofessional, from 3 days per week to 5 days per week, and remove Valerie Sergio 3 days per week. That's on page 17, 18. I don't think the changes are out in the public. Excuse me. Page 19, number 14, change 2 additional hours per week to 2 additional hours per day. Okay, and on page 14, under the business administrator's items, item N, regarding the non-public contracts, Title I services needs to be modified as follows. After each dollar amount, add plus 3%, 3.5%. Now, I did the calculations on it. The here we go. Item A, catapult. The 3.5% would come out to $150,817.03. Item B for Tender Touch would be an additional $42,759.08. Item C, Tree of Knowledge, would be an additional $34,064.94.
Tom,
Last is,
excuse me, Tom, why the increases?
that's the 3.5 administrative fee that we negotiated in the contract, and that's part of the contract.
Thank you.
This is, by the way, this is all 20 fund. This is not local
that's-
funds. This comes out of the 20,000. And the last item is items 5 through 14, which are the transportation items. It's going to be our recommendation that we table them for further review. We want to get more information on it before we have the board pass them. We'll pass them next month. The additions to the agenda, I believe that the board has copies. You have a copy of this? Can you get Tracy a copy of this? Okay. Business agenda items number R, letter R. Move that the Board of Education approve the disposal of the attached documents per record retention schedules approved at the September 30th board meeting. Now, we have additional, we're going to be going every month, removing more and more paperwork from the warehouse. That's not needed. We don't have to retain certain documents beyond 7 years. Certain ones we do. So we're going to have a list every month of more papers that we're getting rid of. So the board has to approve, yeah, we're shredding them. So the board has to approve them. They're going to be attached in this type of form that the board has. Okay, you'll see this every month until we get to the point where we're up to date on it. Because we have boxes in there from decades ago.
Now, will someone make sure that only items that are determined to be destroyed or actually destroyed?
We have a company who's headed by a gentleman who used to work for the Department of Education Records Retention Bureau. So he's very well versed in it, and he's heading the crew. We also have a staff from ARC in Monmouth County, right? Where I think it is, that are working in there with them, and they're doing an excellent job, really are.
Great, thank you.
The superintendent items, number 28, resolved that upon recommendation of the superintendent that the Board of Education hereby abolishes the position of behaviorist for the Lakewood School District, employee number 7103, effective at the close of business day on December 20th, 2013, and be it further resolved that the individual who occupies said position be formally notified of this action by the superintendent as soon as possible. Number 29, correction to the June 27th, 2013 agenda. Amount to be paid for Allison Zamalovich, an AZ therapist. It's supposed to be $70 per hour. Item number 30, approval of the following class school trip to the Adventure Aquarium on November 5th. The transportation amount is only $532. Number 31, correction to the 8/29/13 agenda. Annette Ramos to process semi-data, the semi-report at an hourly rate of $12 per hour from July 31st to August 30th, 2014.
Tom, just a quick question. We have a bus for trip sales. It's not being utilized for this trip?
For the semi?
For the trip to the aquarium?
No, this is, I don't think our bus is going to be available for that trip.
No.
On item B, personnel, the certified personnel retirements, correction, Linda Adorna Payne, a teacher of the L.G. Clark School. The retirement will be effective December 1st, 2013. In the non-certificated personnel, we have transfers and adjustments. Moving Peter Balos, who's the Assistant Business Administrator, Assistant Board Secretary, to the position of Assistant to the Board Secretary. And the salary would be at $55,000, effective October 15th, terminating June 30th, 2014. Louise Davis, from Interim Purchasing Agent to Assistant Board Secretary / Purchasing Agent. Louise has her Qualified Purchasing Agent certificate, and that's why we want her in that position. Her salary would be at $92,000. He's only working 4 days a week, so it's prorated at 80%. And Kevin Campbell, who's a CPA in the business, in the grants office, is going to the CPA in the business office. It's also going to work helping out grants during the process. His salary will be $100,000 because he's getting an increase in responsibilities. He's going to be doing board secretary's reports and things like that. Those are our agenda items that are corrections and additions.
Hey, one good question. Number 2, Dave Lewis. You said that 3 is going to be doing the secretary report, so what is 2 going to be doing? If the assistant board secretary?
He's going to be, one of the things we wanted to do, which is very important, is all of the transportation purchase orders have to be monitored. We wanted to do that, number 1. Number 2, he's also going to be doing the grants. Kevin's going over to our office, so he's going to be doing the grant monitoring. The Title I, to make sure that the Title I reports are done properly, because that's something, as you know, in the past was never done.
Gotcha, I understand.
Until Kevin got there.
Thank you. Oh, we don't need a behavior analysis.
This behavior is a new position this year, and I abolished the position.
Was there a need for it?
I have someone else picking up.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes. I can make a motion to pass the...
We need a motion for,
The business actually.
A, B, and C on the recommendations of the Business Administrative Board Secretary. As you recall, last night I could not certify the budget. I will be certifying it this evening, and as I explained to the board, as of this date, we found money to put our budget in balance. I will be monitoring as my responsibility as board secretary, business administrator, every month, and I will be giving a report to the board on a projection for the rest of the year. Right now, we're okay. Thanks to Mrs. Winters, she did a great job in giving me some cuts in the budget. She really did. My assistant business administrator. But we did a lot of cutting in the budget, and that $1.6 million was not available to us until the auditor said we can use that, the money that we had for health benefits in reserve. Because they freed that up, and because of the $500,000, they gave us $2.1 million. So that brought us up to that, closer to that 2.5. We found the other 400,000 other places in the budget. So right now, we're tight. Again, I want the public to understand, and the board does know, we presented a very, very austere budget last year. $6.5 million budget increase, contrary to what the newspaper reported that we didn't raise taxes. We did raise taxes by $6.5 million. That was almost a 10-cent increase.
If we didn't raise, we have to be very careful to be very accurate. We didn't raise taxes by 6.5, we raised the budget by 6.5. The tax increase, I believe, was slightly less. I think it was about 4 or something.
No,
The rest came in
6.5.
state aid.
The taxes were raised by $6.5 million.
Are you talking about a local levy?
The local levy.
Or,
First line.
or maybe it came off of the debt service or something. Something was there. It wasn't really a 6.5.
Yeah, the debt service was still in there.
But it was lower.
Yeah, but it wasn't that much. I mean, it was just minuscule. But it was 6.5 years. It's actually, the actual amount is $6,467,431. It's 9.16%.
And Tom, would you say that would be the highest that we're allowed to go by law?
It was over the cap,
We
but
were
we
over the
had
cap.
extraordinary circumstances which allowed us to go over the cap.
Because the Board of Education did not raise taxes for the last 2 years, we had bank cap, and we also had a waiver for health benefits and special education tuition. We also had the ability to raise it another $1 million, as I had presented to the board, but we felt that $6.5 million is enough tax increase this year. We figured we could work this budget out this year. So I think that the board, personally, my opinion, as a business administrator, I think the board did an excellent job. It was a very tough decision, and I said it at that time, and I'll say it again. And we were working on a tightrope. We came up with some unforeseen expenditures. June 28th or 29th is when we got the final insurance number of $600,000 increase. Nobody predicted that. We didn't know we couldn't get our errors and omissions policy. We didn't have that in front of us. If we had it, maybe we would have raised another, because that's another penny, 630,000. So things like this is what people have to understand, that the board did not miss budget. This is not a mismanagement of this budget. You did a great job, and I'm saying it personally to this board. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Because of the toughness, and you had to deal with 2 years of no budget increase, no tax increase. That's tough. That's tough to do.
Tom, do you want a motion for
Just
A, B, C, and D?
the debt service went down by 1.4. That's all.
Well, that,
1.4.
Make a motion.
Motion to approve on the recommendation of the business administration, item A, B, and C.
you could go on, you can keep going down.
I can go all the way through the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I thought you wanted the table. No?
Yeah, he did table.
We did.
we did table the transportation item.
Well, yeah, it's just items in letter H, items 5 through 14 were tabled.
What is that? What is it?
In transportation, which is item H,
Right.
which is letter H,
I got it.
items 5 through 14.
And you can continue with items
2Q.
Pardon me?
2Q.
Right.
R,
To Q.
and R. R is on the supplement.
Right. The addendum, the addendum, there we go. Okay, there's a motion to approve the business items. Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes, with an abstention on all transportation-related items.
Mr. Zlatkin?
Yes.
Mr. Tiff?
Yes.
Mr. Munn?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Mr. Seidler?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
We have to move the minutes. I'm sorry we didn't do that. The minutes of July 18th.
Motion?
Second?
Mr. Greenspan, I think you were absent, so you have to abstain. Mr. Zlatkin, were you here at the 18th?
Yes.
No, hold on.
Martin was here.
Hold on a second. Lee Munn was
Lee
absent.
absent.
Lee, we need another second.
No,
You were absent.
Mr. Greenspan was here, Mr. Munn was not.
Mr. Munn can second.
Still second.
He can still second,
He's
even though
still
they can't vote on it, so. Mr. Zlatkin, yes. Mr. Tiff?
Yes.
Mr. Munn, you have to abstain.
Abstain.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Mr. Seidler?
Yeah.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Okay, the superintendent's agenda. Move items all the way up to number 30, 31B.
So moved.
One. Second.
Second.
Oh. You guys want to thumb wrestle, please?
I'll second.
Come rest.
Tracy, yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Mrs. Zlatkin?
Yes.
Mr. Tiff?
Yes.
Mr. Munn?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Mr. Seidler?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes. Okay, at this time, let's do the public portion.
What about the addendum? The addendum?
I included that.
Okay, Tracy.
Public session.
3 minutes.
Mr. Hopton?
I just wanted to let the public know that this is going to be the last meeting in this facility. As of the next meeting will be in our new board offices and our new facilities. So that's good news.
At the high school.
Good evening, professionals.
First thing I want to say is, tonight showed me the pride is indeed. I saw these wonderful students do their thing. Your student government representative, how articulate and well-spoken. And her board. They're all saying, I would match these young people. Yes, young people in any school district, anywhere in this nation. They were outstanding. The budget. Residents got tax notices 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Which budget was that on? The original one that we thought was going to be higher than the final one is?
That's last year's,
The
the
one that we discussed
That was
tonight.
no, it's based on the final budget. It doesn't go on preliminaries. The budget was passed in April and that thing came in October. They had ample time to get their act together. That's really on the final budget.
Okay, gotcha. Now, having done a few budgets in my lifetime, when you start pulling all your reserves to use them for current expenses, you're going to need to pay the piper, if not today, then tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, certainly the next day. So taxes is a difficult situation. You get your revenue streams from the federal government, the state, et cetera, and from tax revenue. I'm so excited to see what you're doing, to see this pride returning, making sure this board is so key to serving every child in the Lakewood School District. That's key. Some districts don't do that. You do it, and you do it well. And I'm thankful for that. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you, there's a lady by the name of Michelle Kwan, someone you might have heard of her, and she's introduced a process called the reverse process. Students generally have a lecture in school and then go home and do their homework. Well, many families today are not as well structured as they could be, should be. And there's no one to ask. So Ms. Kwan said, let's reverse the process and see what happens. Let's have the teachers put their lecture to multimedia, and that's the homework, to watch that and to write down questions. And then come back and ask the teacher, when they're present, about the lecture. They're so enthusiastic about this simple process that it just reverses it. If a child someone has no one to ask, they're probably just going to not bother with it. But if a child can listen to that lecture at night, and so many children of today have the iPads and what have you, and I hope that Lakewood students can benefit from that, to see that lecture, key in all of the questions, all the issues, and then go back and ask that teacher what was meant by this and what was meant by that. They found that the understanding of the subject matter was far greater than anticipated. And of course, California and Texas are the two states that lead us in education anyway, on how to do it. So, I know that there's been a lot of controversy. I know that there's finger pointing and things like that, but you're doing your job. Be bold. Be absolutely concerned, confident, and committed. You're doing a great job. Mr. Fink, hope that this electorate, this body of residents brings you back for this next and to serve more. Mr. Sutherland, I'm so happy that you've reconsidered and you're going to be a write-in candidate, and you certainly got my vote, and I'll do anything in my power. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
To the chair, I'd like to just say to you, since Laura Winters has become superintendent, and what Laura and her people have done to the Lakewood School District is probably the second time it's being done in the state of New Jersey. The first time it was done was up in Patterson with a gentleman called Joe Clark. Laura is Lakewood's Joe Clark. She has turned the district around.
She doesn't carry a big club with her, though.
She does.
Not yet.
Okay, but you're 100% right. Ms. Winters was magnificent, but you were there right along the way. Thank you.
Through the chair, can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
As you all know in the public, this is the first time since last April, which is actually April of 2012, that we're having a school board elections in Lakewood. First of all, it's important for everybody to go out to vote, but my own comments that I would like to make to the public was, again, this is my personal opinion. I've been on this board a year and a half, and I've worked closely with the body of the board, and I've worked very closely, and we all work together very well. It's my personal recommendation that people that do go out to vote our incumbents back into office.
Thank you. Okay,
Evening. I have 4 questions. I would appreciate you letting me ask the questions first, and then you can respond afterwards. You don't go into my time. Number 1, it was stated that there are 30,000 students right now between public and private schools. Can someone furnish me the breakdown? How many public, how many private? Number 1. Number 2, I've been attending the Jackson Zoning Board meeting dealing with the Cross Street School, 68 Cross Street. 38, I'm sorry. Thank you. And we were told at that meeting that ultimately the school that's proposed there has not been approved yet. It's going through zoning approval right now. But at the end, if it does get approved, there will be 400 students there. 400 Lakewood students and 1 Jackson student. That's the ratio. Can somebody tell me in response that they told us that Lakewood will be paying for the transportation of these 400 students there? Number 2. Number 3, do you anticipate in this school year any additional schools to be located in Jackson for which Lakewood will be paying for the transportation of the students? And my fourth question is, if, as I've been informed, that Jackson does reimburse Lakewood, I would like to know how much money Lakewood, if you don't mind, I have the floor.
Good, Larry.
Thank you very much. Okay, you can do the theatrics afterwards. So let me go through my spiel. How much has Jackson reimbursed Lakewood for transportation costs in the current year? Okay, my fourth question.
Please. The first part, I'm going to refer to Mr. Seidler, your first question.
It's very simple. The public school population is now 5,500 students, and the private school population is just under 24,000. 23,900, something like
That's
that.
fine.
And the answer to your last question is the private, I could only answer the last question.
No, the last question was about right now, how much we get from Jackson. We don't know.
No, the one before that is we anticipate any private schools going
Yes.
to Jackson, which we're going to have to bus. That's not in our jurisdiction. We have no idea if a private school, I know there was one private school that applied for zoning in Jackson, and whether or not they will get it, we don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, but as Transportation Committee Chair, I think I have a better understanding what your question is. Your question is if a school is located in Jackson and the students are living in Lakewood,
Yes.
are we obligated to bus them? It's state mandated that any student that lives outside of a 2-mile radius and inside a 20-mile radius of their home, it's the responsibility of the district,
Of the sending district.
of the
Yes.
Sending district.
resident district,
Right,
to bus that student to its respective school.
right.
Okay, so that hopefully that answers your question. If a
Well-
school is located in Jackson and the students are from Lakewood.
Yeah.
You also,
knows that. He wanted to-
you also asked another question. Are we,
Joe, if I may, and that's not a conversation back and forth, just to clarify that. My concern was, are we paying for the anticipated 400 students when and if the school does come about? And if so, are we budgeting for this anticipation?
Larry, can I just jump in here for a second?
Sure.
The school is currently open. The 400 students currently attend school. The school happens to be located on Oak Street, and they
No,
want
I'm
to
not talking
relocate it down to
I'm
Cross.
sorry.
So we're paying already for the buses. The question is where the bus stops. Does the bus make a left down Oak, or does it make a right down Cross? It's the same cost, it's the same thing, it's just a question of where the
Well,
school
he is
is.
assuming that the cost may increase slightly because of this further.
It's
That's
not,
possible.
it's not,
That's
it will be over on the other side of Jackson, but it's right
Whoa, whoa,
there.
whoa, one at a time. I can't.
If it would be all the way down by Six Flags, maybe you would be, but it's right by Cross. I don't think it would incur an additional expense. We're paying for them, no, he wants to know if you have to go all the way down to who knows where it'll cost more, but it's right there, it's on Cross, right to Westgate, it's not.
So my answer,
Right.
Larry, it's really hard to tell because the route's going to be rebid anyway. So we know we're paying for the bid now, the route now. We don't know what we're going to be paying for, later. Next
It's
year,
insignificant.
It only has to be
It's not-
rebid if the operator says he doesn't
But-
want it. He can say, I don't care, I'll go down Cross.
I don't think it's going to really cost us anything
to
more.
clarify your statement, which I was not aware of, these 400, quote, the school that's anticipated to be located in Jackson is already in existence
Yes.
there on Oak Street.
It's been in
Thank you.
existence for a while.
It's a high school in
I
Lakewood.
did not know that, thank you.
They're just building a new building.
And the fourth question was how much, if any money, has Jackson already reimbursed us for any students?
No, you know what? If we
Ross would know that
don't,
number. We have
Tom's
it.
number.
Call me up tomorrow and I'll look it up.
Okay, why don't you call me?
I don't have your number.
no, okay, listen, I'll give it to you later. I'll give it to him, Larry. Okay. Next person, please.
Pastor Wilson?
Pastor Wilson?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Pastor. How are you feeling?
Still a little woozy. But I want to say that with all the successes that we have had over the last